Hello and welcome to the salon. I am Wendy. This is Wendy's Pet Salon and this is my little salon at home. So welcome to the Pet Salon, welcome to all the subscribers, and if you are new, welcome on board. I do hope you will stick around and consider subscribing and maybe give me a like. So I'm just going to go through today a little basic trim. So I'm just going to go through what I do when I do Dolly's trim here. Dolly is a Shih Tzu cross, a Maltese. I had to think about that one. Are you okay, Dolly? Are you okay, Dolly? She's a very good girl. I've been grooming Dolly since she was very young. Not a puppy, but very young. First thing what I've done, obviously she's come in, she's had access to go to the toilet if she needs. There's always drinking water outside the back there. And I just quickly go over and feel for any lumps and bumps, any knots and tangles, just to give me an idea when I'm looking for when I'm moving forward within the rest of the groom. So her ears are not too bad at all. No, we've got no lumps and bumps there. I just like have a little bit of a feel inside her face. She's got a few little knots there, let's have a feel. A lot underneath, sometimes you get friction areas where little mats and tangles accumulate, and I generally just scoop that area out so it keeps it shorter for longer. Just have a little feel. Yeah, you're all good to go. A little tiny knot there, any tail. So, and because she's been kept in a short, practical trim, basically she'll keep better for longer, so she won't be getting, there's a little bit of a knot there, she won't be getting the knots as if, you know, she was being left for more than 8 weeks. So I'm just going to actually check when she had her haircut last. So she last had her haircut on the 4th of February, so it's 8 weeks plus a few days if you look at it like that. So I will have done her on a 3 length. Generally my 8-week trims I like to do on a 3. So I'll just show you the 3, which is that length there, which is the 10mm. And I use my comb attachment with my Bravura to do that trim. So she'll have a 3 length all over, including the legs. I will then shape round her feet, making sure inside her pads are clear, her nails, around her bottom, and then I will just shape the head to match the body. Now, what I tend to do is, if it's on a 3 on the body, I maybe just do 2 lengths up on the head, just to balance it out. I mean, you could scissor the whole head, which I can do, or I can just run a 4 or a 5 comb attachment over the top and then just scissor in the shape. Cuts down the time. I've only got till 5 o'clock. It's 3:15 now, so I'm going to get cracking. I'm going to give her a lovely bath now and a facial and dry. I'll just go through the motions with you. So first of all, I've done my little check. So I've checked for knots. I'm looking at the nails. She just needs her nails doing. She has got dew claws, so which is here, and sometimes they get front and back dew claws here, but she's no back dew claws on either of the feet. So well, there's no like mats inside her feet I've seen there, because when you do that short trim inside their foot, it keeps it neater for longer, which if you get wet feet, they get dry quicker, don't they? They do, yes. She had some teeth removed not long ago. I'll just show you the lovely gummy smile. Ta-da! So I'm going to get her in the bath now and I'll take you through the next bit. And as you can see, I haven't done any pre-brushing on her because she comes regular, she's no knots, I can get her straight in the bath. So you might find as a pet owner, if you go too long in between grooms, that you get a little bit more knotty and the groomer does a little bit shorter than maybe you want to. So it's always advisable to sort out the number of weeks and the length of the coat that you want to keep manageable. If you're leaving it too longer, then you might just be hitting the point where it's got to come off. So it's hitting that sweet spot really to find what suits you and your lifestyle. So if you're really busy and you go on lots of muddy walks, you might want to go super short every 8 weeks, so you can go shorter than the 3. It just depends on your lifestyle. If maybe you do a little bit more grooming at home, you might be able to do go a little bit longer. So I generally like to advise, if you've got a trimming puppy, if you've got a puppy that is going to need regular trims, forget what the vet says and what people tell us all the time, and they leave it till they're 6 months and you've lost all that training. Basically, as soon as they've had their last injection and they can go out, they can come and have a trim, and a puppy intro is what we call it. So a bath, a trim of the eyes, the nails, inside the feet, round the bottom, and then you'd gradually build that up until they get to 6 months. The puppy coat has been kept on top of, and then they can look to have, depending on the breed, of what they need and what you're wanting to achieve, then they can be trimmed down as they go. So that is just what we like to advise. Dolly here, like I said, comes every 8 weeks. She has a 10mm trim that lasts her. She's not going to get overly matted. She can still go on nice walks. It's not too long and not too short. So the first things first is what I'm going to do. She's sitting here very patiently waiting for me. Is I'm going to firstly give her a facial. So don't we give you a facial? Yes, we do. So I'll just get to the temperature that I want. So it's at the temperature I want. Now, Dolly doesn't particularly like the water over her head, and I have fortunately got one of these shower heads that I can turn down. It's here. I can actually stop it if I want to. So I'm just going to have it like a rain trickle, and then I'm just going to literally just wet around her face. Just a little bit. Like so. And what I like to use is a tailless facial. So the one I'm using at the moment is the Wild Wash. And if I just show you, less is more. You only need a little, tiny little amount. This is great because it's not only tear-free, it's got aloe vera in there, it's chamomile, lavender, so it's a nice calming effect for you. And I just spread that around your face. And the reason why I like a tailless one, because obviously they do move about a little bit, so I always feel that with the tailless one, if I do get a little bit inside or near their eyes, then I won't worry too much. I'll give that a really good massage. Now she has got some little crusty bits around her eyes. I can only use my fingers to just move those away. And also I do have a little flea comb as well that I can just massage and take those away from the corner of her eyes. You can see her. I got all the, move the dirt away. So obviously people bath their dogs all different ways. So as a professional groomer, I like to do the frothing. Sometimes people use a mixing bottle, as you might see there. I use the frothing method. Now I can do it, some people use a foaming thing. I don't do that. I like a little pot, and I also like a silicone scrubber. So I'm just going to rinse that. They're very easy to clean. I just keep them in a Milton bucket here. So this is clean each and every time I use it. And then once I've made my froth, I can then pop that in there, direct straight onto a dry coat. So let me just put my shampoo in. So at the moment I'm using the, for all dog kinds, it's a super soothing. It is lavender and patchouli oil, and it smells beautiful. It's a tiny little bit of shampoo in there. It's a 32:1, so it's a highly concentrated ones. So a little bit of water like that. Now this one, I could just fill that up with water and make my foam like that. I can just like swish my silicone in there, or I can put the lid on. I have got an electric one, but this is a whiskey one. Yeah. And it just gives me a big pot of froth. Now I'm gonna stick my silicone in there and scrub it. So, and with it being foam, I can actually see straight away where it all is. Sometimes when you put the mixing bottle on, you don't always see where it's going, and some of it just runs off, whereas this isn't going anywhere. And it clings to the coat. You've mixed it with the shampoo, with the water already. And you can see that it glides on. I did do a video recently on what I use in the bath. I use silicone. Some people use the body scrubbers. Now they are quite hard to clean, they do fall to bits, and I don't feel that you do get a really good scrub on the body. It's sort of just sitting over the top, whereas these silicone strands, they really get to the skin. And also they've got the added bonus of these little nodules, soft nodule teeth. Oh, it's having a good shape. I can actually use that side and actually massage the skin that way as well. So it's getting really, it's better than your hands, I find, because if you're doing smooth haired dogs and things like that, sometimes we do get hair splinters in our fingers. It is a hazard of the job. And also they're good for cleaning bottoms. So what I will do, I'm going to foam her once, and then I'm going to rinse, and then I'm going to foam again, and then I'm going to rinse the head. And if I think I'm rinsed, I rinse again, make sure she's squeaky clean, and then we'll see her when we're going to dry. I forgot to mention, she's just on her second shampoo now, and sometimes a little bit of foam left in there, and I'll top that up, and then I'll sit each foot in, because even though I've done one wash and I think she's clean, I'm giving her a second wash. You won't believe the amount of dirty water that this is when you've actually soaked the foot and got right inside and felt and washed all around the nails. So just to give you an idea here, I'm going to just tip it down so you can see. So I just lift her foot up, because it's a nice big pot, isn't it? I can feel around the nails. And then I'll do each foot. Clever girl. There we go. And then the other side, back foot. Bearing in mind, this is her second wash now. Okay. Tim. Look at that. Can you see what I mean? And the cleaner they are, the quicker they will dry. So if you are a really great pet owner, which I'm sure you are, when you take your puppy to the dog groomers, they get used to all different types of dryers. Now, because we are doing this as a professional job, we do have professional dryers. So we have finishing dryers and we have blasters, which do take some time to get used to and are built up over time. Mine, I can turn right down, and then gradually, as they get older and they get more used to the feeling, I will turn the velocity up. The things that you can do to protect their ears when we're doing that was we put a happy hoodie on. Put a happy hoodie on, and that will protect them with the noise and things like that. So Dolly is all rinsed off. I am going to just dry her head with the microfiber towel, and I'm going to pop, she's going to have a shake, and we're going to pop on the happy hoodie. Not every dog likes to have a happy hoodie on, but many of us do use them, and if they've again been used to having them on as a puppy, they know that that's the next part of what's going to happen. Happy hoodie on. I know I'm going to get the dryer now. So if you were a pet owner and you were just going to let them air dry, what I would do is I'd pat them dry as much as you can. Try not rub, because rubbing can create friction and tangles and make tangles as you towel dried them. If you just sort of pat them dry, you could get a microfiber cloth like that, and to try and get the excess water off, use a towel, let them run around, put the towel down and let them air dry. I would also recommend leaving some leave-in conditioner sprayed on them, and then when they're dry, go back, brush them all out again, maybe put a little bit more of your detangling spray and brush them out that way. Obviously, being a professional, I'm going to dry them by hand, so I am going to blast her off, which is one of these velocity dryers that's on the wall here, if you see, like that. And both of mine I can turn up and down. So obviously if it was a puppy that I was doing, I'd turn it really low and just start very gentle at the back and work my way up. Just do bits and pieces. Even when they're very young, I might not use this. I might just towel dry them and use the finishing dryer. So I'm going to blast off and now I'm going to blast off Dolly now, and then I'm going to move it on to the table. I also wear ear defenders because these blasters can be quite loud. So now she's been blasted, so she's not dripping wet. I can just wrap the towel around her, short distance, pop her on here. Ready? Off we go. So she's now connected just by the lead here onto the table, so I can have my two hands. And what I generally do is for my professional drying, I'm very fortunate, I have got a finishing dryer and a blaster. So to get her dried quicker, I blow over my finishing dryer and I also use my blaster. Also, while I'm doing this, I also want to straighten the coat as well. So instead of just like wafting it around, I try and start from the bottom and work my way up. Sometimes if they're not very fond of it, if you go a little bit slower, they probably accept it a little bit better. But like I say, you need to come as a puppy and then you will be desensitized. By the time you get to Dolly's age, you've got it made. So a little bit of a tip for the drying when you're using the dryers and the blasters is to protect your hand. So I use the microfiber towel on my hand. I put it on the dog like that, and then apply, because they're wet and then you've got the heat and the dry, it kind of, because you're in and out of the water all the time, it can make your hands sore. And also, if you've already dried one side of the dog and you're drying this side of the dog, it stops the wet going onto the other side that you've just dried. So once you're sort of 95% dry, I then switch to just the finishing dryer and I work my way through each part, a section at a time. So making sure that I'm going up in sections all the way up, and then once I've done that, I then go back with my comb after to see if there's any knots, and then go back with my brush if I find a knot, and then go back with the comb to check. And what I forgot to mention is once I've moved her from the bath to the table, I then use my leave-in conditioner, sprayed all over, and then I'll brush that through. So now her body is dry and I've gone through with the brush. I'm now going to go through with the comb. So start at the bottom, concentrating on all these areas of friction. There's a knot there, so I'll go back with my brush. There we are. There's the culprit. Go back with my comb and it's gone. So making sure all tail, all legs. A bit of knot in there. Go back with the brush, just try and locate them. Wait. If I don't think I'm going to get them out there, what I tend to do, I don't want to pull them. I'll find them on the table. I'll get my little thinning scissors. I'll just chew at them a little bit, give it a brush, and the comb should take those out, because they can be a little bit sensitive around their legs. And then I'm going to take a happy hoodie off. I'm going to dry her head. Dolly isn't a fan, so I'm going to dry it as much as I can. I'm going to pop her in there just for a few minutes to get the rest off. A little bit wet there, just going to pop her in the cabinet. There we go, so she's all bathed and dried, she's brushed and she's combed through. So I'm satisfied that there's no knots, because the trick when you're using these comb attachments that the coat be fully prepared. So if you're a pet owner that are going to try and use something like this with a comb attachment on, this coat must be really well prepared. Clean, dry, knot free, for you then to be able to put that comb attachment through. If you don't, it's just going to stick, it's going to chew the hair, you'll end up with big divots in the coat and it'll just look a bit of a mess. So to get that nice even finish that you get at the pet salon, you need to work on your preparation. Preparation is the key. So I'm going to change my mind. So I always like to sort of start high and work my way down. So I'm just going to start with the 5, because I was thinking about the 3. And that's the 5. So that's the 5. I'm going to go down to the 4. Because she's got a fineness to a coat, sometimes it can look shorter than what it is. Because she's a very light coated dog, when you take them too short you can see skin, so that's what I want to avoid. And as they get older their coat does get a little bit thinner. So I think I'm going to go with the 4. The 4 instead of the 3. So I'm going to go all over with the 4, and that includes down the legs, all the way down, so she's the same length all over. And you will find that if you can get yourself some kind of table, it will be much easier to be able to do this if you're a pet owner that's trying to groom and trim your own dog. The beauty of having a professional groom is that if your dog is used to it, he will stand lovely on the table and we're able to put a nice trim on without scrabbling around on the floor. So if your dog is used to the grooming situation and you want to give a trim, bear in mind that they will be used to standing on the table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the hair off on the 4, all over the body, all over the legs, and we'll come back when I'm going to do the feet. Right, I've done my body and leg clipper work. Anything else, once I've combed that through, any of these little ends, I'm just going to get my scissors and I'm just going to tidy them up. And if it's a bit floaty, staticky, it's not sitting quite right, you can just get scissor spray or a detangle spray, just give it a little light misting and comb that through, and it will help it sit a lot better. So those ends that you're trying to trim will stay where you want them, and then you can just trim them off. Because there will be certain bits that maybe haven't took with the clippers. So I'm just going to do one of the feet just to show you what I do. So I get my mini trimmer. There's all different ones. I'm using my Artero. This is a 4-in-1 blade, so I can actually, oops. So for instance, I can turn it to the 1. You see it moving. 3, there. Shorter setting, and then I'm just going to clear inside the pads. So we reveal the little teddy bear that's underneath. Don't we? And if I just show you the bottom of her foot now, you'll see the little teddy bear. Can you see the teddy bear? There we go. So next thing what we do is I've done side the pads. Stay. Shh. I'm just gonna trim the nails. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Wait a minute. Like I said, she's no back due claws, so that's fine. Right, stand. So I'm going to just comb everything down now. And what I do is I trim the front and I trim the back and then I round it off. So my scissors, where the nail is. I like to hold my foot here. Some people like to have it on the floor, but I like to hold my foot. So there's the front done, and then the back done, and then I will meet those, comb it all out, and I'll round that off. And I'll do the same with all 4 feet. Making sure to comb them, and anything that's hanging over, trim off. Go from side to side. Get it nice and even on both sides. Pick the foot up if you want to. And then sometimes what I do is I'm going to let that toe up there, shape it. If it looks a bit choppy and you can't get it to sit still, put a bit more spray on. But now you can see she's got a nice round foot. And I'll do the same on all the other feet. Right, so we've got 20 minutes in which to do your face. It's a wiggle for. She has got very choppy hair. It's quite difficult sometimes to get your hair really nice, isn't it? So Dolly's owner does like a straight beard. I like it round. I would like to make it really round, but Mummy doesn't like it. She likes a bit of a beard, doesn't she? She does. So we have the long ears. So I'm just going to run over the top of the head with this fall. Come here. Just come here a minute. Just over the top there like that. try not to chop into these ears at all. Just giving it like a bit of a swept back look. Take off just underneath the ear, and around the back of the ear. This just gives me a guide, and it's less for me to trim off. Oh, found a little knot there. Okay. So I'm just going to go around her ears. So she has a whole ear and then there's hair around the top of the ear. So if I just hold her ear forward like that, I can see all this hair that's hanging around the back. And then I can just get my blenders. Wait a minute, get my blenders and just blend that into your neck. Going to shake again. Tickle ears, and I'm going to pull that there, and all this hair that's hanging around the front. I'm going to take my blenders and take that off. Wait a minute. Got an itch. So that's all the hair from round the back and the inside. So we've gone all the way around the ear there. Lots of shaking today. Same again. Hold the ear forward. All this hair that's around the back here. Going to blend off. I will try and zoom in a bit because I know people say, oh, I can't see you and stuff. I'm not at the point where I can get these super duper cameras because I obviously need people to subscribe for me then to invest more. So the more subscribers, the better the channel will be. So I'm going to take off the hair in front of this ear now. With the blenders. Is it very tickly today? I have done a video on ear separation. If you look in my videos, I have done one with how to separate the ears. So I've just gone over the top of the head with the 4. I've took away the hair from behind the ears and in front of the ears. Like so. So, some people find it very hard to do this face bit. Now, many groomers will hold this beard, but the first thing, as you can see, Dolly wants to do is move back. So I don't tend to do that. So I get my lead, I put my hand inside the lead. So we've got the security from behind the head, and I've got my fingers in there securing. So then I'm going to and what I can also do, if she's still not doing it, I can got my fingers under here and I can also put my thumb on there. Okay, so now I'm going to just thin out corners of each eye there. I can go round into a rainbow, so I can go up here, across and back down. Across and back down. You can also put your hand over here and take out the hair from in front of her eye. That way, can't we? And this way she relaxes a little bit more into what I'm trying to do. I have done face trims as well on my channel. If you look at my playlists. So I've done the corners of the eyes there. It's a bit more of, I like to take this sort of red staining out. There we go, okay. So I'm just going to comb this all forward now. And I'm going to get my scissors and I'm just going to do your fringe. Good girl. Good girl. And because I'm doing a beard, I'm not taking any of the hair off on the top of the nose, because if I do, it will start to grow up, and as you can see now, it's grown away from my eyes. So now to create my beard, which is really difficult because I want to do a round face, so I'm just going to lift up this and put that there with my thumb, and I can see these dirt pockets here, I call them. I just take that out, keep my mouth clean. So I'm going to put the level of beard that I want to, where I want to put it. Obviously I don't want it too long and I don't want it too short. So I'll put my beard in and then I'm going to comb that down. And I'm just going to go straight across there. You see? Now there is a few bits in front of the mouth that I would like to take away, because they tend to go inside a mouth and get wrapped around her teeth. So it is just this little bit here. She still has that straight beard effect, because what I want to do is round it all, but I'm just going to go straight across there, like so. And then the same on the other side. Same on the other side. I'm just going to put my thumb there and lift up the top. Expose the bottom. Dirt pocket. See the dirt pocket? And just snip that off. And then I'm going to set in the length of beard on the bottom. Yeah, and then I'm going to comb that down. straighten that up, which is so hard to do because I'm going to take those little strands off there that are in front of her mouth. Okay, let's have a look from the front there. That way. Let's have a look at you. And obviously because I'm touching the face, I need to straighten it up each time. So let's move your ears up out of the way. I think I'm just going to take the comb attachment a little bit more on your neck there. It's a bit bulky. There. I'm just going to do your ears. Mum likes long ears, but we do need to take a bit off because they're very dangly, aren't they? Let's do the other side to match. Let's just hold them. Oh, there we go, no. No, it's just a bit of hair's got tangled in there. There's a bit of hair there that's a bit discoloured. I'm just going to thin that off. Or blend it off, should I say. And give it a shake again. We've got about 5 minutes to go. You're not cute. I'm not a fan of holding facial hair, so there we go. There's Dolly Daydream. How do you see? Tell me what you think. Oh, wonky ears. We'll sort them. Oh. Ooh. Oh. Ready? Hey. So, let me know what you think. That was just some basic trimming and styling, bathing and drying. Let me know what you thought. There's some things there that we do as a professional, some things that might help you as a pet owner. And Dolly's dad has just arrived, so drop me a comment